There's something unfolding at the Western Wall in Jerusalem right now that demands your immediate attention. What I discovered about the Chosen and what's happening at this ancient site will reshape how you understand this moment in history. Can I share something with you about what emerged in Jerusalem recently? Most people scrolling past this have completely missed the prophetic weight of what's developing at the holiest site in Judaism. But once you see the connection between the Chosen phenomenon and what's transpiring at the wall, there's no going back. I need to walk you through what I just uncovered. While millions worldwide have been watching the Chosen's portrayal of Jesus and the disciples, something extraordinary happened at the actual Western Wall. The intersection between this global movement and the physical location in Jerusalem carries significance most people have overlooked. What makes this remarkable isn't just the popularity of the Chosen series. It's what's happening simultaneously in Jerusalem itself. The timing, the location, the prophetic implications of millions connecting with Jesus' story while events unfold at the Western Wall. This isn't about entertainment. This is about recognition. This is about understanding what's developing in Jerusalem at this very moment and why it matters for your spiritual awareness right now. Stay with me as we uncover what's really happening. What I'm about to show you will deepen your understanding of this moment we're living through. Let me walk you through something remarkable that's been developing at the Western Wall. While The Chosen has captivated over 200 million viewers worldwide, becoming the most successful crowd-funded series in history, something significant has been unfolding at the actual location where Jesus walked. Consider this. The Chosen series just completed filming Season 6 in May 2025, recreating Jerusalem's ancient streets with painstaking detail. But here's what's extraordinary. As production wrapped on scenes depicting Jesus at the temple, the real Western Wall in Jerusalem has been experiencing unprecedented gatherings. What's remarkable here is the timing. The Western Wall Heritage Foundation reported tens of thousands gathering at the plaza throughout 2025. These aren't ordinary visits. These are gatherings marked by prayer, by seeking, by a hunger for spiritual connection that mirrors exactly what viewers experience watching The Chosen. Think about this for a moment. A television series about Jesus filmed on a Jerusalem set in Utah is reaching hundreds of millions globally. Simultaneously, the actual Western Wall, the closest point to where the temple once stood, is drawing record crowds seeking the same encounter with the divine. I want you to see the pattern emerging. Actor Jonathan Rumi, who portrays Jesus in The Chosen, has spoken about becoming emotional while filming scenes at the replica Jerusalem set. That same reverence, that same spiritual weight, is being felt by thousands at the real wall in Jerusalem. This convergence isn't coincidental. We're watching something unprecedented unfold, a global awakening to Jesus' story through media, while the physical location of his ministry experiences spiritual renewal. The Western Wall stands 62 feet high, built with stones some weighing over 100 tons. But what's happening there now carries weight that transcends the physical. What emerges when we examine this closer will transform your perspective entirely. Focus your attention on what's been documented at the Western Wall recently. In August 2025, an inscription was discovered on the ancient stones, a finding that sent ripples through archaeological and spiritual communities alike. These stones have stood for over 2,000 years. They've witnessed empires rise and fall. They've absorbed prayers from millions. And now, in 2025, as The Chosen brings Jesus' story to unprecedented global audiences, these same stones are revealing new messages. What I've discovered about this timing is striking. The Western Wall, called Hakotel HaMa'aravi in Hebrew, represents the holiest site in Judaism. It's the last remaining wall of the Second Temple complex, the temple Jesus knew and walked through. Picture this. While The Chosen recreates scenes of Jesus teaching at the temple, using authentic architectural details and historical research, people at the actual wall are experiencing encounters that echo those ancient moments. Most people overlook the prophetic significance of this. Zechariah 12 verses 2-3 declares, Behold, I am going to make Jerusalem a cup that causes reeling to all the peoples around, and when the siege is against Jerusalem, it will also be against Judah. It will come about in that day that I will make Jerusalem a heavy stone for all the peoples. Consider what's developing. Jerusalem has become exactly that, a heavy stone, a focal point of global attention. The Chosen has played a role in this awakening, drawing eyes back to the city where it all began. The wall stones were quarried from the bedrock beneath Jerusalem. They're limestone, weathered by millennia. But in 2025, they're witnessing something new, a generation discovering Jesus' story through streaming platforms while simultaneously seeking spiritual connection at the physical location of his ministry. This is where the significance deepens. Watch what emerges as we continue this journey together. Reflect on what's emerging at the Western Wall Plaza. Throughout 2025, prayer gatherings have intensified with a frequency that hasn't been seen in decades. These aren't political rallies. These are spiritual assemblies driven by something deeper. Rabbi Shmuel Rabinowitz, rabbi of the Western Wall and Holy Sites, has overseen gatherings where hundreds of thousands have participated in unified prayer. On Jerusalem Day 2025, marking 58 years since the city's reunification, a giant Israeli flag was unfurled across the entire Western Wall Plaza during evening prayers. But here's what makes this significant. The same week that event occurred, Season 5 of The Chosen, titled Last Supper, began streaming on Prime Video. The synchronicity is remarkable. I want you to see the connection. The Chosen has done something unprecedented. It's made the Gospels accessible to a generation that might never pick up a Bible. Over 200 million people have watched Jesus pray, teach, and minister. Many of them are now seeking that same spiritual reality. And where do eyes turn when seeking the physical connection to Jesus' ministry? Jerusalem. The Western Wall. The very stones he knew. If this resonates with you, write in the comments, "The wall still speaks." Your voice matters in this conversation about what God is doing. What's remarkable here is the authenticity driving both movements. Dallas Jenkins, creator of The Chosen, has emphasized historical accuracy and reverence. At the Western Wall, that same reverence is palpable. You can see it in the faces of those who approach the stones with their written prayers. Most people overlook how these two phenomena are feeding each other. The Chosen creates hunger for authentic encounter. The wall provides the location where that hunger meets history. This next piece transforms the entire picture. Let me show you something that will shift your understanding. The Chosen has been viewed in over 180 countries. It's been translated into more than 50 languages. Season 4 alone was watched by over 100 million people. Now consider this. According to the Western Wall Heritage Foundation, in recent months of 2025, the site has seen visitor numbers increase by percentages not witnessed since the early 2000s. Particularly notable are visitors from countries with no historical Jewish population. What I discovered will reshape your perspective. Many of these visitors, when interviewed, mention the Chosen as part of their journey. They've watched Jesus minister in recreated Jerusalem streets. Now they want to stand where it actually happened. Think about the prophetic implications. Isaiah 62 verses 6-7 says, "On your walls, O Jerusalem, I have appointed watchmen. All day and all night they will never keep silent. You who remind the Lord, take no rest for yourselves, and give him no rest until he establishes and makes Jerusalem a praise in the earth." We're watching this unfold. The watchmen today include millions streaming The Chosen, learning about Jesus, becoming aware of Jerusalem's significance. The wall itself has become a focal point of global spiritual attention. Here's what's extraordinary. The Chosen films on a Jerusalem set that cost millions to construct, built with archaeological precision in Goshen, Utah. Meanwhile, the actual Western Wall stands exactly as it has for 2 millennia, needing no Hollywood recreation. Yet both serve the same purpose, connecting people with the reality of Jesus. The statistics are staggering. If The Chosen's 200 million viewers represent even a fraction becoming aware of Jerusalem's prophetic significance, we're witnessing the largest spiritual awakening regarding Israel in modern history. And this is happening right now, in real time, while you're watching this. The deeper story behind what's happening in Israel demands your careful consideration. This discovery reshapes our understanding completely. The Western Wall is the closest accessible point to where the Holy of Holies once stood. In Jesus' time, this was the temple's western retaining wall. Beyond it, up the mount, stood the temple itself. What's essential to grasp here? The Chosen depicts Jesus teaching at the temple, walking through Solomon's colonnade, confronting religious leaders in the temple courts. These aren't just dramatic scenes. These are historically accurate portrayals of events that occurred within feet of where the Western Wall still stands. Picture this. Season 6 of The Chosen, currently in production, will show Jesus' final week in Jerusalem. The crucifixion, the resurrection. All of this happened within walking distance of the wall. As filming continues in Utah on the replica Jerusalem set, the actual Western Wall in Jerusalem is experiencing something profound. Prayers are being offered for recognition of Jesus as Messiah, recognition of prophecy fulfilling, recognition of God's timing. Consider what's developing. Joel 3 verses 1-2 speaks of God gathering all nations to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for judgment because of my people and my inheritance, Israel. The focus? Jerusalem. Most people overlook this, but we're watching nations' attention drawn to Jerusalem through cultural phenomena like The Chosen. It's not forced. It's not political. It's spiritual curiosity meeting prophetic timing. If you want to continue discovering these connections, subscribe now. Each new video brings revelations that can strengthen your understanding of current times. What I needed to verify multiple times before sharing is this. The Western Wall has live cameras streaming 24/7. Anyone, anywhere can watch people praying at the wall in real time. While millions watch The Chosen's portrayal of Jesus' ministry, they can simultaneously witness living faith at the actual location. This convergence is unprecedented. And this is where we must recognize something crucial. What's happening now accelerates everything we've discussed. In September 2025, The Chosen released behind-the-scenes footage of Season 6 filming. In one scene, Jonathan Rumi, the actor portraying Jesus, became visibly emotional while filming a prayer sequence. He wasn't just acting. Something deeper was happening. That same month, at the actual Western Wall, Rabbi Rabinowitz spoke about how the Sinai voice is felt within us as heaviness or emptiness, a divine call to awaken. He was describing what's being felt at the wall, a spiritual heaviness, a recognition that we're in a significant moment. This revelation demands your thoughtful attention. We're not just watching entertainment connect with tourism. We're watching prophecy intersect with global awareness. Matthew 24 verses 32-35 contains Jesus' own words. Now learn the parable from the fig tree. When its branch has already become tender and puts forth its leaves, you know that summer is near. So, you too, when you see all these things, recognize that he is near, right at the door. The fig tree is widely understood to represent Israel. In 1948, Israel became a nation again. In 1967, Jerusalem was reunified. The Western Wall became accessible to Jewish prayer for the first time in 2,000 years. Now, in 2025, a global movement is teaching millions about Jesus through The Chosen, while simultaneously drawing attention to Jerusalem. We are watching the fig tree put forth its leaves. What's remarkable here is the authenticity of both movements. The Chosen isn't proselytizing. It's simply showing Jesus' story with humanity and historical accuracy. Yet it's having a profound spiritual impact. The Western Wall isn't a tourist attraction. It's a place of genuine encounter with God. Yet it's drawing unprecedented attention globally. If this perspective is expanding your vision, leave your like. This allows more people to access these important discoveries. Your awareness of this carries more weight than you realize. I needed to verify this multiple times before sharing. The prophetic implications of what's developing in Jerusalem through the chosen phenomenon and the Western Wall gatherings point to something specific: preparation. Zechariah 14 verse 4 declares, "In that day his feet will stand on the Mount of Olives, which is in front of Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives will be split in its middle from east to west by a very large valley, so that half of the mountain will move toward the north and the other half toward the south." This prophecy speaks of Jesus' return to Jerusalem. The Mount of Olives stands directly east of the Temple Mount, directly east of where the Western Wall stands today. Consider what's unfolding. Millions globally are learning Jesus' story through the Chosen. Many are encountering him for the first time. Simultaneously, Jerusalem, the city where he will return, is experiencing spiritual renewal at its holiest site. This isn't coincidence. This is preparation. The Western Wall has witnessed prayers in Hebrew, Arabic, English, Spanish, Mandarin, Korean, virtually every language, throughout 2025. These aren't just tourists. These are seekers who've been awakened to spiritual reality, many through cultural phenomena like the Chosen. What emerges when we examine this closer is clear. We're watching a generation being prepared for recognition. When 200 million people have seen Jesus' face portrayed with dignity, his teachings presented with clarity, his humanity and divinity balanced, they're being prepared to recognize him. Luke 21 verses 24 to 28 tells us, "Jerusalem will be trampled underfoot by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. When these things begin to take place, straighten up and lift up your heads, because your redemption is drawing near." The moment to understand this is now. You're witnessing something we cannot ignore. What unfolds next depends on grasping this reality. This moment requires our full awareness. What's developing at the Western Wall and through the Chosen phenomenon isn't just about prophecy fulfilling in general terms. It's about your personal readiness. 1 Thessalonians 4 verses 16 to 17 describes Jesus' return. "For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel and with the trumpet of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first. Then we who are alive and remain will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so we shall always be with the Lord." Friend, consider where we are. A global movement has made Jesus' story accessible in ways never before possible. The Chosen has done this not through preaching, but through storytelling that captures the heart. Meanwhile, in Jerusalem, at the Western Wall, where Jesus actually walked, taught, and prayed, people are seeking him with renewed hunger. You're not watching this video by accident. The awareness rising within you as you see these connections isn't random. This is divine invitation to recognize the times. What I want you to understand: the Western Wall is called the Wailing Wall because of the prayers and tears absorbed by its stones. In Jewish tradition, prayers offered at the wall go straight to heaven. It's considered the gate of heaven. But friend, you don't need to travel to Jerusalem to encounter Jesus. What the Chosen has done beautifully is make that encounter accessible wherever you are. Yet here's the call: recognition of who Jesus is, awareness of his imminent return, preparation of your heart. The convergence of global awareness through the Chosen and spiritual renewal at Jerusalem's Western Wall is a sign. It's a call to attention. It's preparation for something greater. This demands your thoughtful attention right now. What's happening in Jerusalem at this very moment will reshape your entire perspective. The choice facing you carries eternal weight. What I'm about to reveal carries profound significance. In August 2025, The Chosen began casting for Season 7, the final season. This season will depict Jesus' resurrection appearances, his ascension, and the early church's formation. The series will conclude. But friend, the story continues. At the Western Wall right now, prayers are being offered for the Messiah's coming. Some pray for his first coming, not yet recognizing he already came. Others pray for his second coming, knowing he will return to Jerusalem. Revelation 19 verses 11 to 16 describes that return. And I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse, and he who sat on it is called Faithful and True. On his robe and on his thigh he has a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. This is the culmination. This is where all prophecy points. The awareness rising in you right now, this recognition that we're living in significant times, this is the awareness that rises within I mentioned at the beginning. You feel it. The clarity breaking through. The Chosen has introduced millions to Jesus' character, his compassion, his power. Many have fallen in love with him through this portrayal. But friend, the show is just the invitation. The real encounter awaits. At the Western Wall, thousands have stood before ancient stones, sensing the weight of history and prophecy. But you don't need those stones. You need only recognize that the same Jesus who walked those streets, who taught at that temple, who died and rose again, he's alive. He's returning. And he's calling you to readiness. 1 Corinthians 15 verse 52 tells us this will happen in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. The moment approaches. The trumpet's sound grows near. Jerusalem watches. The Western Wall stands witness. And you stand at the crossroads of recognition. Let me bring this full circle. The Chosen series has done something extraordinary. It's made Jesus accessible to a generation drowning in content but starving for meaning. Over 200 million people have connected with his story through this show. Simultaneously, the Western Wall in Jerusalem, the actual location where Jesus ministered, is experiencing unprecedented spiritual activity. These two phenomena are not separate. They're connected threads in a larger tapestry God is weaving. Friend, understand this clearly. The convergence we're witnessing isn't entertainment meeting tourism. It's global preparation meeting prophetic timing. You've walked through this revelation with me. You've seen the connections, the numbers, the timing, the prophetic significance. Now comes your moment of response. Are you awake to what's unfolding? Do you recognize the preparation happening globally? Will you be among those who see the signs clearly? The Western Wall has absorbed the prayers of millions across millennia. Those stones have witnessed empires rise and fall. They stood when Jesus walked Jerusalem's streets. They'll stand when he returns. But you live in this unique moment. This convergence of global awareness and prophetic fulfillment. This time when millions are learning who Jesus is while Jerusalem prepares for his return. Revelation 3 verse 20 records Jesus' invitation. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him and will dine with him, and he with me. He's knocking. Through the Chosen. Through Jerusalem's renewal. Through this very moment of recognition within you. Share your perspective. The Wall still speaks, and let's continue this journey together in the next video. The invitation stands. Jerusalem watches. And your response echoes into eternity.